Hey everyone, in this video we will talk about the importance of diversifying our identity. So we will cover what diversifying our identity actually means, why it is important and how we can do that. As always, you can find timestamps in the description box below. So what does it actually mean to diversify our identity? The first time I got to know about this concept about identity diversification was in an article by Mark Manson, and I will link to that article in the description box below. But to explain it briefly, you may have heard the term diversification in the context of investing, where it is a pretty common advice to diversify your investments and buy stocks from many companies instead of buying stocks from just one company only. Because if this one company would go broke, you would risk to lose your whole investment. And we can transfer this idea of investing to our identity. In our lives, we have a lot of different life areas and we fulfill many different roles in which we can invest ourselves in to create and shape our identity. We have our work, we have friendships, family, health, hobbies and so on. And sometimes we might be more invested in some of these life areas than we are in others. There might be even one area that we are totally invested in. That means that we derive most of our happiness and self-esteem from this one area only. So if things are going well for us in this area, it might us feel very good and we might become oblivious to other parts in our life that are not doing so well. And on the other hand, if things are going quite bad in this area, we might feel very awful, even though other parts of our life are totally fine. Or in other words, the more of our identity is invested into only one of our life areas, the harder it will hit us if this area goes into crisis. For example, if you identify too much with your job, and you derive your whole sense of self-worth from it, then it will very likely crush you if you ever lose that job. Or if you are a parent and you identify too much with this role, you will probably have a hard time to let go of your children when they become more independent of you, move out, live their own lives, and in general don't need you so much anymore. Or when you identify too much as someone's boyfriend or girlfriend, your relationship might become the major priority in your life, so much that you're starting to sacrifice other things for it. Things that you actually really cared about, like your hobbies, your friendships, or even your values. And then later, if this relationship ends and you were too invested in it, you would feel lost, because it would feel like you didn't just lose that person, but you also lost a whole part of yourself with them. These are all examples where a big change in any of these life areas could hit us very hard if we have put too much of our identity into them. And we sometimes even really try to avoid these changes, which might cause us to stay in relationships that we are not happy with or to keep doing a job that we hate. Because we have actually invested so much of ourselves into it that we might be too scared to find out who we are without that job or without that relationship. But if we diversify our identity, if we invest our time and energy into different life areas, different roles, different activities, we will recognize that we are more than just our work. We are more than just our relationships. We are more than just our hobbies and passions. We are all of this together. And if one of our life areas goes downhill, it might be stressful. But if we are diversified enough, our happiness, our self-esteem and our sense of self-worth are not going to be threatened by that. But how do we actually diversify our identity? Having a diversified identity is not simply about having a good work-life balance or pursuing many different interests and hobbies. It is also not about treating some areas of our lives as less important or less serious from now on. Having a diversified identity means to realize that one single part in our lives doesn't define who we are. It is about being really invested into different areas and different roles that we fulfill in our lives, which means truly caring about them and exploring them and developing them on a deeper level. So the first thing we can do here is to actually become more aware of all the life areas and roles that we are already more or less invested in. So we can make a list, and we start with all the relationship roles that we are in. We might be a son or daughter to someone, a wife or husband to someone, a friend to someone, and so on. Then we make a list of our knowledge and our skills, the things that we've learned and that we can do, like programming or playing an instrument or speaking foreign languages. Next, we think about our passions and interests, the things that we really enjoy doing, that are fun for us, that we like to read about or talk about. Then we can also think about the things that we want to try and explore. Stuff that we haven't maybe done yet, but we would like to pursue in the future. Now in the second step, we look at all these things and choose the ones that we would like to invest ourselves more in. And we also try to come up with ideas about how we can do that. Let's say you want to invest yourself more in your friendships. Either in your friendships in general or maybe in a friendship to someone specific in your life. Then think about, what does friendship actually mean to you? How can you deepen that friendship? For example, you could start regularly organizing activities together. Make an effort to meet, have meaningful conversations, and try to become a bigger part, a more important part of each other's lives. Or if you want to invest yourself more in traveling, then think about, why do you actually enjoy traveling so much? How can you take away more from your travels than just photos? How could you explore the cultures that you visit better? You could learn a little bit of the language of the country, get to know the people, or simply follow your curiosity instead of just checking off the tourist attractions. Or let's say you enjoy cooking and you want to invest yourself more in that. Then you can take, for example, some cooking classes, or you can invite friends over for dinner from time to time to make cooking a bigger part of your life, a part that you are more invested in. I also think to be really invested into something, we should be fully present in whatever we're doing. That means, for example, to not keep thinking about work while we're with our partner or our family. Actually, the stuff that we keep thinking about the most is probably the thing that we are most invested in. And it might be good to check in on ourselves from time to time to see if we're not putting too much of our identity into it. Alright, thank you for watching. And if you found out during this video that there might be some things that you would like to invest yourself in and that you would like to explore, but you kinda keep procrastinating on them for a long time already, then maybe this video here can give you some motivation, because there I talk about what procrastination is actually costing us every single day. So thanks again for watching, and bye.